Yo, how y'all doing today? First off, I want to say thank you for 20K. Last video, I was just thanking you for 19K, and next video, we're already at 20K, and we're about to be at 21K. To say that that's insane is just an understatement. We're only going up from here. And with that said, let's get straight into it. If you clicked on this video, you've likely seen the sneak peek for the new Gumball season. And while I do have some reservations about it, none of them really have to do with if it's good or not. It's kind of just everything surrounding it, more or less, to the extent to where it just expands way past Gumball. Because in the West, I feel like cartoons are so cooked to the point where there needs to genuinely be a complete reform. But I won't go into that. Instead, I'll talk about something that we can likely all agree on. The fact that this era of reboots and revivals is getting really draining. Creative bankruptcy would just have to be an understatement. There are outliers like DuckTales where they gave us a really good show. And then you have stuff like 2016 Powerpuff Girls, and that just ends up being government mandated garbage. And then newer shows get canceled all the time like OKKO or Owl House. So instead of letting these new shows organically flourish and spread their wings, they instead either pump everything into them so they end up becoming oversaturated like Craig of the Creek, or they just get axed for something else, which resorts to them doing the old reliable. Let's revive a series or reboot it. And we've seen many examples of this, like the 2016 Ben 10 reboot or Thundercats Roar, so I don't have to get into that. But I'm only aggravated because the cycle is looping again for shows that ran a decent amount of time, then came to a pretty good conclusion. And let me cook a little bit real quick, because it would be one thing if the creator only wanted to just, renew this show and do it again. But these creators are trying to do their own thing, and then it's getting axed for one reason or another. And there are two perfect examples of this: Phineas and Ferb and Regular Show. And we'll start off with Regular Show. And it needs no introduction, right? It's on the Cartoon Network, Mount Rushmore. It's a pretty good example of how to start your series off as episodic and crazy, and then lean into the serious stuff later on and give good character development, all that good stuff. It had a pretty good clean-cut ending, and then J.G. Quintel wanted to go on to make other stuff, and he ended up making Close Enough. You could, of course, see traces of Regular Show within the art style. I mean, the art style is pretty much one-to-one to Regular Show. And of course, you can see it in the dialogue because J.G. Quintel made it after all. There's even some references to Regular Show. But I say all of that to say this: he clearly did not want to remake Regular Show, because you can see within the content of the show, it's doing its own thing. It has an entirely new identity. People like it. I mean, it's getting good viewership. It's making money for HBO. And then it ends up getting canceled to cut costs and fund a different show getting a new season. And then a month later, Close Enough ended up getting completely pulled from the service entirely, which is crazy. And not only was it canceled for the renewal of a different show, it was a part of a larger purge of adult-centered shows because HBO Max wanted to pivot to younger audiences, which is extremely stupid because Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Rick and Morty, and Smiling Friends are all on HBO Max. So what was even the point? But anyways, J.G. Quintel ended up being in limbo for a little bit. Fast forward to now, and we got two Regular Show spin-offs announced. And I guess technically one of them is more of a sequel rather than a spin-off, but whatever. The sequel has potential, I'll give it that, while I still have certain reservations because the later half of Regular Show could be hit or miss sometimes. I'm willing to give that one a chance, but the spin-off, I really don't know why it exists. It's supposed to be the lost episodes of Regular Show. It's essentially old ideas that they cooked up or spitballed that just ended up not being made into actual episodes while Regular Show was originally running. So now they're actually making those ideas into episodes, and yeah, that's essentially it. And I really just don't see a point. It's pretty much just Regular Show again. It is just Regular Show. It already concluded to the point where they're making a sequel series, and I guess this is just gonna be a more like return to episodic Regular Show, which on paper sounds, I guess, fine, but in practice, what? There's genuinely no point in this, and 9 times out of 10, those ideas weren't used for a reason, and depending on at what point in the story those episodes would have taken place, they're gonna have to be tweaked anyways. But at the end of the day, it is episodic Regular Show made by its original creator, so it'll probably turn out well, but still, Close Enough being sacrificed for this is just sad. At least with Regular Show, it'll likely turn out to be quality, but as for Phineas and Ferb, I'm a little less optimistic. The original run of Phineas and Ferb was legendary. Multiple great episodes, crossovers, TV specials, spin-offs, 2 movies, what more could you ask for? And on top of that, it got to properly end, something that a lot of other shows from that time cannot say. And naturally, after Phineas and Ferb concluded, the creators would go on to try to make something else. And that something else was Milo Murphy's Law, and it was great. at the beginning. It had the shadow of Phineas and Ferb over it, so that slightly held it back, but it was doing really good until season 2. Season 2 was delayed for like 2 or 3 years. The show had horrible promotion and it just overall wasn't as popular anymore. And when season 2 did finally come out, they crumbled to the fact that they couldn't outdo Phineas and Ferb and centered the entire season around a Doofenshmirtz arc. And as expected, afterwards, the show was canceled. Really unfortunate situation because Milo Murphy's Law was actually super promising at the beginning, but one of the co-creators, Dan Povenmire, went on to make Hamster and Gretel. And that show is trash. I'll just tell you right now. It is trash. Like, please don't renew this show type of trash. And after the Phineas and Ferb revival was announced, Dan Povenmire said that if the revival is successful, he's gonna try to get a new season for Hamster and Gretel. And I'm just like, why? Was that the entire point the whole time? I'm noticing a pattern of him trying to use Phineas and Ferb as a way to like bail him out. But the only difference between then and now is the fact that I don't know if they'll be able to capture the same light they had with the original run of Phineas and Ferb just due to their track record. And last time I checked, there's like over 200 episodes of Phineas and Ferb, so rehashing the same formula just will not be a hit. Unless they spam crossovers or by some miracle they can just suddenly write again, I really don't see this working out too well. This really feels like a means to an end. Like, all of this just to give Hamster and Gretel a new season. That show genuinely was not good. That's why it was unsuccessful. It was simply not good. The climate of like Western cartoons right now is pretty bad, but that show genuinely was not good. Nobody asked for this and it just further fuels the creative bankruptcy. At least with reboots, you can approach the entire series as a whole in a different way. Like Mystery Incorporated, for an example. That's a really, really good reboot. But Phineas and Ferb is the type of series that you cannot reboot, so you could only do a revival. But the issue is we already have a long stretching show with a bunch of spin-offs, 2 movies, and on top of that, a literal conclusion. It's not like The Simpsons or SpongeBob where you can make an ending that technically concludes the series and still keep it going. No, once you end Phineas and Ferb, that's just it, bro. Like, don't make any more. And while all of this is going on, they're also bringing back King of the Hill. I don't really know why. I'm not too mad at it. I'm too indifferent to King of the Hill to really care that much. And when it comes to shows that we actually do want brought back, like Kids Next Door, people tend to get nuked off of the planet. Like when he proposed the Kids Next Door movie, everybody was on board. Fans actually wanted it, and then he just got eviscerated. And then if it's not that, it's legal trouble with Sony and Disney and Marvel with Spectacular Spider-Man. Just some nasty work, bro. I don't like how the Avatar sequel series that takes place in the post-apocalyptic future is shaping up. That sounds pretty terrible. And regardless of all of that, this industry as a whole just isn't a place for new creative ideas. I mean, we can see it with Final Space. I've talked about Final Space before. Pretty good, pretty peak in my opinion, and then it just gets canceled. But that's the industry for you. Filtering in creative ideas, recycling old concepts, and making something worse. Sometimes there's outliers, a lot of the times there's not. I really, really hope this new season of Gumball is good. I hope that we're able to get the movie that we were promised. And I also hope that Go-Go Mystery Machine is good, because I'm actually interested in that concept. Scooby-Doo, but yokai, that sounds pretty cool. And you can always look to the bright side with indie animation. There's always something to be happy about over there. Plus, Glitch Productions just signed a legendary deal with Prime Video. They're able to keep 100% of creative control while only reaping the benefits of support and distribution. I've never seen anything like that before in my life. That is crazy. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. You just won't find it at Warner Bros. Or Disney or Nick or Netflix or HBO. You get the point. We can only hope for a reform or just a better future. But for now, let's double it up. For the elite canon viewers, you already know what time it is. And for any new people, this is the music section. But stick around, because we're not gonna waste any time this time. First off, we got Lucy Bedrock. I'm not sure how to pronounce the last part of that name, but regardless, bro might actually be a genius, and I'm serious about that. You might not catch it at the first listen, but when he self-prods, you can see the Japanese EDM influence. Well, not see it, but hear it, but you get the point. I guess to give you like a frame of reference, it's like Rage. Sometimes it's kind of rave or hardcore. Sometimes it's just pure EDM with how he uses sound design. It's kind of crazy. There's even some tracks where he leans more towards rock. Kind of a jack of all trades. His vocal pockets have crazy range. And for song recommendations, well, first off, I definitely recommend you listen to his album Musique. And for singular song recommendations, I definitely recommend you listen to Chow. Crazy production. G6 Anthem is also really good. You'll probably see what I mean a bit more with the EDM influence. And last but not least, Musique, the song, not the album. It's pretty much a culmination of everything that I already mentioned. It's definitely my favorite song by him. Go listen to it for yourself. Even some experimentation in there too. But yeah, that's Lucy Lucy. Don't be surprised if you see him blow up like crazy in the near future. Definitely hop on while you still can. And next up, we got Sam Waden. I don't know how I found this artist. He just magically fell out of the sky. His production is straight ear candy. It's like the second coming of Hideki Naganuma. And for song recommendations, I don't even know where to start. I want to say the whole discography, but for your sake, I'll say definitely start with All You Need and go from there. And Circles is also crazy if you need your D&B fixed. There's just so much within this discog. I'm being dead serious when I say quite literally almost every song is a hit. I think every song is a hit. I've been through the whole discography. But yeah, Sam Waden, 100% go listen to him now. Absolutely crazy. But that's all I got for now. And as always, all artists will be linked in the description along with the BGM music that I use for the vid. And can I interest you in joining the official Canon Core Discord server? We do indeed have crab legs. Also, does anyone remember that last Ronin TMNT game? I swear to God, that junk is never coming out. I thought we'd finally get a better TMNT game than Shredder's Revenge, but I don't know. It seems like it's just stuck in permanent limbo. And if you so happen to make it this far for whatever insane reason, comment your favorite Ninja Turtles design, because if you can't tell, I don't know how to end video.
Up in here with my tool, they gon' find you in the ditch, yeah. Straight for high rule, you not from it, you a glitch, yeah. Man of my rules, running with the misfits, yeah. Do not misclick, that's gon' get you hit quick, yeah. Scared don't dare, this God, ain't no variation, it's Lord X Lord. I keep prepared, I saw an X out of Claude. And my name Lucy, when I talk, you know.